Welcome to Jazz Time. JazzTime.com is an online store that buys, sells, trades authentic luxury watches. We make these videos so our customers can easily choose the best watch for themselves in the comfort of their own home. If you like this watch and would like to purchase it at the lowest price anywhere online, click on the link in the description below to buy it at JazzTime.com. Today, I'm going to be reviewing the Rolex Daytona in yellow gold with a white mother of pearl diamond dial, reference 116518LN. I'm going to talk to you about the bezel, the dial, the case, the bracelet, the movement, try it on, and give you my thoughts. So let's start with the case. The case is a 40 millimeter yellow gold case. It's the same case that's used in the Oyster. In fact, it's the Oyster case. And it's different from the other sports watches in that, for example, the Submariner, the GMT, the Deep Sea, the Sea Dweller, they all use a much fatter and blockier case. The Daytona uses an Oyster case, which is much more streamlined, as you see from these lugs. They're much thinner. And it makes sense because Daytona has references to racing, and you would think that a racing car or anything related to racing would be very streamlined, and the watch itself is also quite streamlined, which is why they use this style case instead of the blockier, bigger cases that you see in other sports Rolexes. The only other exception would be the Yachtmaster, which also uses this Oyster case. So only the Daytona and the Yachtmaster, for the sports line that is, use this streamlined Oyster case. And it makes sense because the Yachtmaster also, by the way, is used for racing. That's why they call it the Yachtmaster. But supposedly, as it's marketed, Rolex is using that watch for those who are doing racing on their yacht. Okay, so therefore it should be using a slimmed down case, i.e. the Oyster case. Okay, so there you have it. It's 40 millimeters. Now, between all the Daytonas, they didn't change the size of the case. The case has remained at this 40 millimeters. And as of 2023, the Daytona has been updated, and there's some minor changes to it, but the case size is not one of them. So it has been 40, and it will probably remain 40. I don't see it getting much bigger because the Daytona, as I said, has references to racing, being streamlined, being very efficient, and it doesn't really make sense to make a very big, cumbersome watch if the watch has racing heritage, slimness to it. Speaking of slimness, let me turn this watch on its side, and you can see what kind of dimensions you'll have. Profile-wise, you have a nice, comfortable 12 millimeters. And considering that this is one of the more complicated watches that Rolex makes, i.e. the chronograph, and by the way, you might think that the chronograph isn't that complicated because it's so common, but actually it's one of the most complicated movements that Rolex makes and anyone makes. And it's hard to do it right. Rolex has done it perfectly, and that's why the Daytona is one of the most iconic and most desirable watches, and also trades at the highest above its retail price that of any sports watch that Rolex makes. So, and then of course there's many different variations of it. This is just one of them. Okay, so the profile is a nice, comfortable 12 millimeters. Not any bigger than the Datejust, by the way, which, strangely enough, the Datejust only does time and date, whereas the Daytona also has a chronograph feature, yet it's still the same thickness. Quite a engineering feat by Rolex, I would say. Okay, as I told you, it's 40 millimeters diameter. That's the longest distance across the bezel from the 8 o'clock to 2 o'clock, but that does not include the pushers. The pushers here actually make the watch look even larger. That's not included, but it is part of the watch. So that does make it a few millimeters longer. So the Daytona actually looks a little bit bigger, and it looks quite manly and sporty because of these pushers, at least if you ask me. Okay, so that is the case. It is a yellow gold case. Now Rolex has and uses its own gold foundries to produce this yellow gold. Why? Well, they want to make sure that it's the same consistency, the same luster, the same brilliance, and they want to make sure that every watch shows up the same beautiful, that is. And in order to do so, they have to mix their own gold. Actually, before, when they didn't mix their own gold, their rose gold would actually turn into yellow gold after some time. I believe that was back in 2005, before they had their own gold foundries. Now they have their own gold foundries. Okay, so that is the case. All right. Now, by the way, I guess I should also say the case has a screw down case back. It's a monoblock middle case with a screw down case back. And the pushers, by the way, are screwable. What does that mean? It means that in order to activate them, you have to unscrew them. In order to secure them back in place, you have to screw them back. Now, why would that be important? Well, it's important for waterproofness. You don't want to accidentally activate one of the pushers while you're underwater or in the shower, allowing water to enter the movement and destroy it. So what does Rolex do? They figured out that they can just simply screw it down, just like they do for the crown. Quite a smart system, and it also looks quite nice with these little ridges that allow you to turn the knobs more easily. I think it's aesthetically nice and also functionally nice. Very smart idea by Rolex. Keeps the watch 100% watertight. Now, other brands, sometimes you can just simply push it like AP, but that's not very secure underwater. You could accidentally activate the pusher and allow water to enter the watch, which could destroy it actually. So I have to say the Rolex system is probably better. Okay, now let's go ahead and talk about the bezel. The bezel is a Cerachrome ceramic black bezel. It doesn't scratch, it doesn't fade, and it will pretty much stay like this for the life of the watch. Now, I can say that's how they market it. That's not entirely true. I've seen these bezels scratch and crack and break, so just like any other item, they could, but they're much less likely. Now, before, like 10-15 years ago, before the ceramic Daytona came out, they used to use a metal bezel, which would be very prone to scratching and look very unsightly after just after a short period of time. Now they replaced it with a ceramic bezel, which is what you see here. So it makes the watch very sporty and also much more durable. Now, if you like that old metal bezel, like what they had before, then you'd have to get it on a precious metal, rose gold, yellow gold, white gold. But on these Oysterflex, they always pair it with the ceramic bezel. And I think it's the right choice. It looks quite nice. Okay. All right. So, by the way, Rolex says that the advantages of this ceramic bezel is it's corrosion resistant, virtually scratch proof, although we've already talked about that. The color is unaffected by UV light rays, and it's extremely durable and has exceptional legibility, etc., etc. And they also tell you, interestingly enough, they put a thin layer of platinum in the numerals and graduations via a PVD, physical vapor deposition process, which looks pretty awesome. Okay. All right. So the new bezel, by the way, in 2023, it looks just like this one, except it has gold that goes around the edge of it that holds the ceramic bezel insert in place. What you see here is the older version, which is being phased out as of 2023. The entire bezel is ceramic, including the edges, which in one way makes the bezel much more protected. In another way, it makes the bezel look a little bit thick. So Rolex changed that in 23. I think it's a matter of preference, but that is one of the changes. Okay, now let's move on to the dial. The dial is a mother of pearl diamond dial. That means that this came from a shell, and the pearl on this one is not going to look the same as one on another mother of pearl, because all mother of pearls are distinct. They have parts of purple, blue, green, white, different shades, and that is combined into a natural pearl, which is what you see here. It's very beautiful, and it's discontinued. So if you like this mother of pearl, this would be the last time that you could get it. And by the way, if you want to buy it, you have to go to jazztime.com. That's JAZTIME.com, or click on the link in the description below to buy it. So this dial is no longer produced. And I think it's a very beautiful dial. I'm not sure why they aren't producing it. It could be supply issues. It could be they just want to wait and then release it again later on down the line. Or they might just discontinue it altogether. For example, what they've done with the meteorite. I heard that there were supply issues rightfully so, because a meteorite comes from outer space, and you can't just simply order those. And so they discontinued it after they made a run at it. And that might be the case with this pearl. Who knows? But at any rate, we do have them at jazztime.com. You can buy them. So click on the link in the description below. Now, the diamonds also are internally flawless, D-color, and the best diamonds available. And they're natural stones selected by gemologists, placed by the most skillful jewelers in-house at the Rolex workshop. And then the watchmaker goes and places this on the watch itself. It's a symphony or a harmony of very skilled laborers doing fantastic work on these beautiful Swiss watches, which is what you see in front of you. Okay, so that is the dial. Let's move on to the bracelet, the strap. The strap is a rubber strap. You might think, well, what's the big deal? Why have this rubber strap on this very expensive watch? Well, the rubber strap is also quite special in that it has actually two blades of metal going through them so that the strap maintains its shape. That's right. No other watchmaker does that. And I have to say that Rolex's Oysterflex is #1. It beats out Richard Mille, Patek Philippe, Audemars Piguet, in that it is 1, more comfortable, 2, more functional. It's also more functional because the buckle, as you see here, it is very secure. You open and close it like this. And you have a glide lock system that allows you to adjust the bracelet without having to use any tools, which I think is very helpful since many of us, our hand, know it, if you know it or not, expands and contracts throughout the day depending on a lot of things, weather, etc., etc. Okay, so these two curved metal blades are over molded with high performance black elastomer for optimal comfort. And also, if you look on the underside, there are these little gills or air vents that allow the rubber strap to not sit directly on your wrist, but above it, and that the air could actually escape. It's an ingenious system, and I have to say Rolex has done the absolute best when it comes to rubber strap watches. Nobody else does it better, not even Richard Mille. Okay, now let's move on to the movement. The movement is a caliber 4130. It has been replaced in 23 by 4131. I'm not sure what the difference is. I'm not sure it matters. Maybe just the power reserve got longer, I think, in the newer version, but it's still covered. You can't see it, so that doesn't really matter in either case. Okay, and that's it. Let's try it on. I'm 6 foot tall, 200 pounds, and as you can see, it's an excellent size. 40 millimeters, not too big, not too small. It's perfect on my wrist. And I think this is a great watch. I like that it has a very unique dial to it. Not a lot of watches have a unique dial. This is one of them. Meteorite's another. They don't make a lot of diamond dial yellow gold watches or Daytonas. There's a black diamond dial, a champagne, and then there's this one, the mother of pearl. And I have to say, I think it's quite nice with this, especially, for example, if you're a guy and you have a lot of yellow gold jewelry. Let's say you wear a gold necklace or whatever it is, gold ring, and it's all in yellow gold. Well, you don't want to, change it up with rose gold, right? You want to keep it consistent. And if you wear, a lot of bling, or you want something with some bling on it, having this diamond dial on here would be a great idea. It just adds some profile and adds some classiness to a very sporty watch. If it goes all stick dial, it looks super sporty. But when you add a little bit of diamonds, it allows the watch to look sporty, of course, because of this rubber strap, but at the same time, still very high class and elegant. So for that reason, I definitely would buy this watch. And if you want to buy it, click on the link in the description below.
If you want to find out more about the watch you just saw in the video, you can just click below on Show More to see the full description. Then you can check the link next to model as seen in video, click on it, and you will get to the proper page where you can see all the details. If you're watching on a mobile phone, you have to click on the arrow down on the right hand side below the video to see the full description. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up. If you would like to share this video with your friends, you can use the share button below and share it on any platform you like. If you have questions, constructive feedback, want to tell us about some mistakes or misspeaks, just write a comment below. If you want to see more videos like this, you should subscribe to our channel and visit our channel page where you can find all the videos. And if you're interested in a specific watch brand, you can check out our playlists. If you want to check the price for a watch or want to buy one, remember at jazztime.com you always get a steep discount, so you should check the prices with us. If you want to know the price for a specific watch, just go to Google, type in JazzTime, plus the brand, model and the details you're interested in, and Google will find the right page for you. Thank you for watching.